What would you do if the woman you swore to cherish, the one who shared your bed and your dreams, was secretly selling off pieces of your life, one lie at a time? I never thought I'd find myself staring at a glowing phone screen at 2 a.m., the blue light illuminating a text message that wasn't meant for my eyes. It was a message that ripped the fabric of my reality into irreparable shreds. It came from a number I didn't recognize, a crude joke about our little secret in a photo. A photo of my wife, Sarah, laughing intimately with another man in what looked suspiciously like the lobby of the Grand Hyatt in Dallas, a place she claimed she was visiting for a girls' weekend. My blood ran cold. But it was the next message, a follow-up, that truly twisted the knife. "Tell your sister I said hi. She owes me a favor." The mystery wasn't just about Sarah's betrayal. It was about the sinister connection to my sister-in-law, a connection that promised a deeper, darker rot beneath the surface of my perfect life. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a tidal wave of nausea that threatened to drown me. Not just the betrayal, but the sheer audacity, the casual cruelty of it all. Sarah, my Sarah, the woman I had built a life with in our quiet suburban home off Elm Street in Plano, Texas, had been living a double life. Every tender touch, every shared laugh, every future plan felt like a performance, a cruel joke played at my expense. I felt like a fool, the last to know in a drama everyone else was privy to. The image of her with him, smug and carefree, burned behind my eyelids. Over the next few weeks I started noticing things, small at first, then glaring. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now always clutched in her hand or face down. Late-night work calls became more frequent, her voice hushed, her eyes darting. Receipts for expensive dinners, at places like Nobu in Dallas, far from her usual haunts, started appearing in her purse, quickly discarded. Then there were the phone calls, always quick hang-ups when I entered the room, a nervous laugh, a dismissive wave of her hand. "Just a client," she'd say, her gaze never quite meeting mine.
Hi.
The man in the photo, a slick-haired, smirking type, began to haunt my thoughts. I remembered seeing him once at a charity gala, a minor player in the local real estate scene, a man named Marcus Thorne. He had a reputation, I now recalled, for being a shark, both in business and in his personal life. Sarah, meanwhile, grew colder, more distant. Our conversations became clipped, transactional. She'd snap at me for trivial things, her patience razor-thin. When I tried to initiate intimacy, she'd feign headaches or exhaustion, her excuses growing increasingly elaborate. It wasn't just indifference. It was an active manipulation, a subtle pushing away, as if my presence was an inconvenience to her secret life. She seemed to revel in her newfound freedom, her arrogance palpable, the way she carried herself, the expensive new clothes, the knowing glances she'd exchange with her phone. It all screamed of a woman who felt untouchable, above reproach. Marcus, I imagined, was fueling this delusion, making her feel powerful, desired, while I was relegated to the role of the unsuspecting, boring husband. I remember one particularly dark evening, sitting alone in our living room, the silence deafening, the weight of her deceit crushing me. I felt a primal scream building in my chest, a desperate urge to confront her, to shatter her carefully constructed facade. But something held me back. The text about my sister-in-law, Lisa, gnawed at me. Lisa, Sarah's younger sister, was a sweet, naive soul, easily manipulated. What hold did Marcus have over her? The thought of Lisa being caught in Sarah's web of lies, perhaps even being used as leverage, ignited a cold, calculated fury within me. This wasn't just about my pain anymore. It was about protecting Lisa, about exposing the full extent of their depravity. I started gathering proof, meticulously, silently. I installed monitoring software on her laptop, a program that mirrored her activity to a secure cloud server. I hired a private investigator, a discreet ex-cop named Frank Miller, who operated out of a nondescript office on a side street near the Dallas Arts District. Frank's reports were damning. Photos of Sarah and Marcus entering a luxury apartment building in Uptown, receipts for expensive dinners, hotel bookings under false names. The digital breadcrumbs led me down a rabbit hole of deceit, revealing a pattern of infidelity that stretched back months, perhaps even a year. I found texts between Sarah and Marcus, not just flirtatious, but discussing financial transactions, hinting at a scheme involving Lisa. "Lisa's almost ready to sign," one text read. "Just need to push her a little more." My heart sank. The legal and social traps I began to set were intricate, designed to dismantle her life piece by piece. I consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp-witted woman named Ms. Albright, whose office overlooked the bustling streets of downtown Dallas. She advised me on the best course of action, emphasizing discretion and irrefutable evidence. I also started subtly leaking information to mutual acquaintances, planting seeds of doubt, letting the whispers begin. I knew Sarah valued her social standing above all else, her carefully curated image of the perfect wife and community pillar. That would be her undoing. The day of public exposure arrived with the crisp, cool air of a Texas autumn. It was during the annual charity gala at the Dallas Museum of Art, an event Sarah always prided herself on co-hosting. The room was filled with the city's elite, a sea of familiar faces, all eager to see and be seen. Sarah, radiant in a sapphire gown, was holding court, her laughter echoing through the grand hall. Marcus Thorne was there too, hovering nearby, a predatory gleam in his eyes. I waited until the speeches were over, until the champagne flowed freely, and the atmosphere was one of relaxed conviviality. Then I approached Sarah, a calm, almost serene expression on my face. "Sarah," I said, my voice low, "we need to talk." Now, she looked annoyed, but followed me to a secluded alcove near the sculpture garden. Marcus, sensing something was amiss, started to follow, but I cut him off with a steely glare. "I know everything," I stated, no emotion in my voice. Her eyes widened, a flicker of fear replacing her usual arrogance. "I know about Marcus. I know about the apartment. I know about the money." She tried to bluster, to deny, but I held up my phone, displaying a carefully selected photo of her and Marcus, along with a screenshot of a bank transfer. Her face drained of color. How could you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "That's not even the worst of it, Sarah," I continued, my voice dropping to a chilling whisper. "I also know about Lisa. I know Marcus has been blackmailing her, threatening to expose her past gambling debts to her fiancé if she did unsign over her inheritance to him. And I know you were in on it, pushing her, manipulating her." The words hit her like a physical blow. Her eyes darted wildly, first to me, then to the crowd, then to Marcus, who was now standing a few feet away, his smug expression replaced by a look of pure panic. The weight of her crimes, the betrayal of her own sister, the public humiliation that was about to unfold, it was too much. Her knees buckled, and she fainted, collapsing onto the polished marble floor with a soft thud, her sapphire gown fanning out around her like a broken dream. The ensuing chaos was swift and brutal. The whispers turned into gasps, then into a cacophony of shocked murmurs. Marcus, seeing his carefully constructed world crumble, tried to slip away, but Frank Miller, my private investigator, stepped out from the shadows, a grim smile on his face, and placed a hand on his shoulder. The police, who I had discreetly informed beforehand, were already on their way. Sarah's life, once so meticulously crafted, was completely ruined. The divorce was swift and merciless, fueled by the irrefutable evidence I had gathered. She lost everything: her social standing, her reputation, her home, and eventually, even her sister's trust. Lisa, once she understood the depth of Sarah's betrayal, cut all ties. Marcus Thorne faced legal repercussions for his blackmail scheme, his career and reputation in tatters. I saw Sarah once more, months later. In a coffee shop on a quiet street in Fort Worth, she looked hollow, her eyes devoid of their former spark, her arrogance replaced by a profound emptiness. She didn't see me, and I didn't approach. There was nothing left to say. The revenge was complete, but it left no taste of victory, only a cold, lingering silence. The silence was the heaviest part, a constant reminder of what was lost and what was irrevocably broken. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing for more content. See you in the next one.